Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Poland and Germany are expected to sign a new defense cooperation agreement Wednesday, as both countries look to deepen practical military cooperation amid an increasingly challenging security environment in Europe. Now, the agreement, which coincides with the 35th anniversary of the Good Neighborship Treaty, is expected to focus on areas such as military mobility, cybersecurity, and cooperation in the Baltic region. Joining us now is Andrzej Byrt, former Polish ambassador to Germany and France. Good to have you with us. Welcome.
Good morning.
So, if I can call on your expertise as a diplomat and ambassador, if we look at this agreement now, I mean, we have also the foreign ministers of both countries in Berlin, but this agreement is being signed in Warsaw. So tell us a bit more about, let's say, the practicalities of what this agreement is, because it's not a treaty in full, is it?
Taking into account the development of the geopolitical situation worldwide and the most acute conflict area, which lays next to Poland in eastern Ukraine, where Russians are ranging so now for fourth and fifth year the attack on democratic Ukraine. Poland has been object of a series of hybrid Russian provocations ranging from infiltrations and ending by a real dramatic things like killing a few days ago one of the critics of Putin in Poland by probably Russian security services. Therefore, we are exposed most from all those neighboring countries neighboring to the aggressed Ukraine. And then we have to take into account the possible escalation of these maneuvers or hybrid attacks against Poland. And therefore, the European Union, as a result of the Poland's presidency not so far away, decided to launch a special program called SAFE, which is the program for preparation of industries of the European Union to confront potential enemies coming from the east. And there is, as a matter of fact, only one now, which is Russia, and together with Belarus, which is our next neighbor. And therefore, we've decided to, of course, to take part in the SAFE program. Poland signed the necessary agreements and started already to produce necessary military equipment. And therefore, in this big effort, Germany, our largest Western neighbor, with which we are in contact for very many years, and you rightly have repeated the 35th anniversary of signing our bilateral treaty on good neighborhood, we decided to strengthen our common joint efforts in order to coordinate the military production, which is necessary for military survival in case of the most dramatic case, which is potential trial to attack NATO countries, and particularly those lying at the eastern border of the European Union and of NATO. We have practically probably one of the longest borders with Ukraine, and from Ukraine, over Ukraine, Russians are firing missiles towards the different civil objects of this country, and some of them can overfly the territory of Ukraine, which was the case already in the past, and land in Poland. We have also quite a substantial section of our eastern border with Belarus, which is a military ally of Russia, and which also joined efforts with Russians during their hybrid aggressions organized through imports of migrants coming mostly from Africa and then trying to infiltrate Poland through our Belarusian-Polish border. Mm-hmm. Exactly these two elements have already made us feel the war
Right.
Still
Now,
developing
Mr.
in
Ambassador,
Ukraine, and therefore our event was to join forces with our Western neighbors, which is Germany.
right. Now, Mr. Ambassador, you served as ambassador of Poland to Germany, critical time, 1995 to 2001, and again 2002 2006, if I'm not mistaken. You've seen a transition. Knut Abraham, who's speaking to us on TVP World not that long ago, said the time of junior partnership is over. The world has changed since 1991. Good neighborliness is one thing, but you've just said yourself, various threats across the spectrum. Yes, the European Union is doing one thing, Belarus is there, but Russia is there very much so. But at the same time, if we're looking at this agreement, it's not at the same level as, let's say, what Poland has now secured with France, which includes a mutual defense clause, also close ties between the UK and also Poland. So is this particular agreement, does it fall short of those? And if it does, why?
The different level of the agreement which we are just talking about is not connected with any refusal of a possibility of strengthening or of upgrading the geopolitical meaning of such an act. It results from very practical and pragmatic reasons. As I said, in case of an aggression, we will have to fight together. And then the connections which Poland has been developing for years with Germany has had its beginnings in the 90s. Then we decided to open in Stettin the joint forces together, military headquarters of military troops of Denmark, Germany, and Poland. And this then experiment had turned out to be a big success. It's now we see on our screen in the time when Poland joined the European Union, where exactly in Słubice, that's one of the major on the Polish shore of Oder River, is the place where on the opposite side we have Frankfurt under Oder, quite a big German city. Both are very connected, and that's one of the signs of the revival of peaceful and good neighborhood relations between Poland and Germany. That's what we see. It's our then foreign minister, Mr. Cimoszewicz. Next to him, Joschka Fischer, the foreign minister of Germany. I was there as well, and I can assure you that since then we've felt, both Poles and Germans, that's the opening of a new chapter. And this chapter so far has been very well, I hope, developed and consumed by the two countries. One of these elements is exactly this pragmatical agreement we are discussing today about the cooperation between Germany and Poland in case of would say, the necessity to react on potential aggression from the East.
Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, I want to press you just a little bit more, if I may, but I do want to also add another point. What's happening in Berlin also today on Wednesday, we have both of the foreign ministers, Mr. Sikorski and Mr. Wadepool, meeting together at a forum. Also, what's being returned, very important cultural items that were looted during the Second World War. I believe also one of these ancient hymns from the medieval times, entitled Gaude Mater Polonia, Jagiellonian ring as well. So tell us a little bit more about this. How significant are these kind of returns of culture in that relationship?
Well, the history is something which in the past was a big problem between Germans and Poles. The agreement we signed together 35 years ago was a political end to this dramatic story. And one of them was exactly the opening of a new political, but also economic and cultural chapter of handling the dramatic questions from the past by both sides. The regular visits and consultations which are being led between German leaders and Polish leaders of different parties, that's a good sign that we can confront certain disputes which from time to time may appear on the political scene between Germans and Poles. As of today, I would like to stress it very strongly. Poland's and Germany's governments, both governments, are in a very regular touch, to a certain extent, playing more or less the intensity which in the past has been developed between governments of Germany and France, both big neighbors of Germany. In the east, that was Poland. In the west, France had with Germany from the past different dramatic disputes and also military fights. This is already over for many, many dozens of years. And as a good neighbors, we now are approaching also such things which in the past were not that much possible, namely good military cooperation also in industry, because now we are facing exactly the challenge of constructing commonly within the European Union necessary industrial bases to support defense of all NATO and EU members in Europe.
Mm-hmm. So on the economic side, also on the cultural and also the military side, more cooperation, it does seem. So thank you so much for telling us more about all this. Andrzej Byrt, former Polish ambassador to Germany and France, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. This concludes World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more news and commentary. Goodbye.